What's up, Salt Lake City? Thank you for coming. You sound like my prom date.
Brian didn't have a prom date.
That's why I thanked myself. It's funny, they have rules for y'all, but they didn't give us any rules. By the way, if you're fans of our work, which is a lot of rated R stuff here, and you don't want that long car ride home with your 12-year-old or 8-year-old, now's the time. Your exits are there and there.
Mommy, what's a donkey show?
What are they doing to Eeyore? So fair warning, you've been fairly warned. We're giving you a few minutes to make your way through this cavernous hall. Wow, they really thought highly of us, didn't they? All right, you're welcome to move forward. Come on. I know they got like red seats, blue seats, green seats, yellow seats, blue fish, green fish, whatever. You can move forward. Welcome Mark, everybody. He's our moderator today.
Yes, my name is Mark. Yeah, thanks guys. I know like 3 people out there right now. Yeah, thanks to Dan Farr and FanX for letting me kind of be your avatar up here as we talk to these 2 lovely gentlemen about a movie/movies that we all apparently really love. Yeah. But yes, if you have kids under 10, earmuffs. Brian and Jeff, have you guys you haven't been to FanX before?
No.
What is your Utah experience? Clerks, of course, made its name at Sundance.
Correct. I mean, we kind of got our start in Utah in a sense because we went to '94. We went to the Sundance Film Festival where it was Sundance Film Festival. Definitely awesome. It's to this day such a strong influence here in the state and in the world in general of film. So I've been here a few times for the film festival. Utah itself. I've been to Salt Lake once, like to visit. Had to be, sponsored. This is when you still had to have sponsors to go, if you were out of state, to get a drink. Which I thought was kind of weird, but at the same time, like, oh, look at this. They're making everybody social. Like, you're not going to drink alone. You got to come with me. I'm like, this is outside. This was really great. So since then, the most I get about Utah is the Jazz, the basketball team.
I made the faux pas last night of ordering a double Jack and Coke. I didn't realize one was here and the other was here.
Yeah, they monitor every drop of alcohol.
A double, not 2.
Right.
They're just trying to look out for your liver, is what they're trying to look out for. So yeah, Clerks, 1994. Has it really been that long?
1994, that's right.
I mean, set the Wayback Machine.
Yeah.
For GD, Sherman.
1994, I was 9.
And you sold cigarettes to yourself.
Yeah, it was his girlfriend. If he was 9 and she was 4, come on. Like, that's a big... We're in Utah, people. Slow your roll. I can drive 20, 30 miles and there's like 7-year-olds that are waiting. Come on. Oh, what now? I've insulted the church. They're not in here. No, they have one superhero only. Come on. Stop it. They're shutting down a musical, right? And they're shutting down the power as we speak.
Clerks is, from its time at Sundance, it has this kind of mythical kind of status in the indie world. It really does. I mean, it gave us Kevin Smith, who put this film together on a wing and a prayer. A lot of ways. Can you talk briefly about how, Randall was originally written for Kevin to play, and then he figured out that would have been a bad choice. But that's why you get a lot of great lines in his words. But how did you go back and where did you come in? How did you become Dante and Randall?
The video store that is featured in Clerks is where Kevin worked, and that's where I went to rent movies. It was great because there was never anybody in there, and Kevin never charged me for movies. So he was literally in there writing the script, so we talked about the script, and when it came to auditions, a friend of mine was going to the auditions and he asked me to tag along. And my friend was terrible at auditioning. So I made fun of him and he told me to audition and I did. I actually read for Jay because Kevin said, you know, I wrote the part for Jay, but I'm not sure Jay's going to be able to play Jay.
To be fair, that's not entirely wrong.
So give us your best Snoochie Boochies.
Was that in the script when you were going to audition for Jay? Was there a Snoochie Boochie in there?
I don't know if there was a Snoochie Boochie in it, but I'll Snoochie Boochie. It would have been a whole different movie.
I think we've seen that reading lately.
It would have been interesting to see Kevin just be a one-film wonder with you as Jay. For me, he had held auditions at a place called the First Avenue Playhouse, where I had done theater out of. I had been acting, like doing community theater and off-Broadway stuff for about 3 years prior to that. So when I auditioned, I went in there with an audition piece. Anybody who has the 10-year anniversary edition of Clerks, that Clerks X version, it has one of the extra DVD things as our auditions. Went in there, did this audition. He's like, man, I wish I had a villain in this movie. You'd be perfect. Because I did this very villainous monologue. But he had me come back and read it twice.
He does have a villain, it's Randall.
Yeah. Snoochie Boochies. And so then he asked me to come back, and from then on, it was what it was.
That's awesome. So did either of you come to, did you come to Sundance for it, or was that, because Kevin, you know, when Kevin talks about it, it's like him and Moj in a car, trucking out to...
It was. That's what they did. They went out and set up base camp, so to speak. As you know, the festival's 10 days, and I couldn't afford to fly out and also put myself up, because what they had done is they had rented like a 2 or 3 bedroom kind of condo up there, and depending on how much you contributed to the fund of renting that place was you got a couch, you got a chair, you got a square of floor kind of thing.
Like college.
Yeah, it was. There was like 6 of us or 7 of us there, so I think I was able to afford an ottoman. I think I slept on an ottoman. But I was there for the last 5 days. So 2 of the screenings had already happened out of the 4 that was totally scheduled, and the final 2, which was an audience, that was sold out. All 4 of the screenings had sold out, which was really rare to hear at a film festival at Sundance at that time. So that was really cool to see. Like, oh my God, there's Danny DeVito. Oh my God, that's Winona Ryder. Holy shit, is that who I think it is? You know, sitting in the audience watching our movie, which was kind of crazy.
I didn't get an ottoman, I slept in the bushes.
With the homeless person, or were you able to evict the homeless person?
I was the homeless person.
I don't think homeless people can afford Sundance. Like, not even the streets of Sundance now.
Well, the last couple of years, most people with homes can't afford it.
Right, exactly.
So it's a thing. It grows. One year, we'll go to questions here right after this. The year after, in 1995, they tried to make a TV show of Clerks.
Yeah.
And they actually shot a pilot.
Right?
That they weren't going to let you be in.
Well, we auditioned. Like, I was out in LA. I was out in LA meeting with different agents at that point, and one of the meetings that I had set up, the agent was like, "Oh, so you're going to go in for that Clerks TV show, right?" And I was like, "Come again? What? Clerks what?" They're like, "Yeah. Don Rio over on Warner Brothers is doing a pilot for Clerks, the sitcom." I'm like, "Huh?" And this is before cell phones and stuff like that. So immediately I got out of that meeting. I'm like, yeah, please set me up for this audition for Clerks. Well, what role do you want to? What do you mean? What role do I want to? Jay Snoogans.
Nailed it.
Exactly. I would have actually. So I got out of the meeting. I went to a payphone and I called Kevin's office and I was like, "Guess you get a hold of this shit." I said, "Are you involved in this TV show?" He's like, I didn't know. No one's contacted me at all. So then he, for like a brief hot second, signed on with Don Rio to be one of the executive producers, saw the script, said, "Oh, we need to change things." They're like, "No, we're not changing anything." He's like, "Oh, well, that's not happening." He pulled out and said, "You can't use the Jay and Silent Bob characters because he owns the rights to them. So you do whatever you want to do, but you can't have those guys." And then, as you saw, I mean, like Jim Brewer played the Randall part.
Yeah, I actually went in and I auditioned for Dante. I'm not even supposed to be here today. Snoogans.
So close. Right there.
And Kerry Russell was like the Veronica character. Like, there were people legitimately good, but the problem was they made the production value. They made, like, imagine Clerks in the Saved by the Bell kind of production level. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And so it was like a convenience store that also had like an eating area that also had next door, instead of the video store, it was a ice cream shop where this guy Ray worked. Crazy kooky Ray. No Silent Bill or anything like that. But yeah, it was a bit of a horrible watch. You can watch it on YouTube though if you type in Clerks pilot. And just to see Jim Brewer in a very weird setting, and I forget who played me. I don't remember what the guy's name was, but yeah, we kind of dodged the bullet on that one.
I think everybody dodged a bullet on that one. We got a question down here in front, I believe.
Sure, you probably get this a lot, but are you even supposed to be here today?
There you go. That's $5 in the tip jar right over here. Come on. Every person says it. It's like a swear jar.
Yes, they are supposed to be here today, but it does not smell like shoe polish.
Alright, so my question is what was your reaction to when you found out that the movie had been shot in black and white in the 90s?
What do you think about the Left Finger Shot?
Yeah, you know, I didn't know anything about movies at the time, so it didn't seem odd to me. It was explained that, you know, they couldn't afford the lighting package and everything else, so
So
yeah.
Kevin Smith is broke.
Yeah.
As far as, it was when they told us they were shooting it in black and white because of that exact excuse. Like, if they wanted to shoot in color with color film, fluorescent lighting on color film, if you don't have the right filters for it, makes you all look like you're in the Matrix, has that like green tinge on you. And they just couldn't afford to do that, so black and white it is. If you see the new Clerks 3, we reference why we do it, and it's pretty funny, so you'll see. Thanks for the question. I love the mic adjuster. Gets up,
All right,
adjusts the mic.
all right, yeah, this is for Jeff. Follow up from Brian from 4 years ago when I asked him the same question, but if the Muppets did a version of Clerks, who would he pick to play Dante and Randall?
The two grumpy old men up in the balcony.
Good choice.
Statler and Waldorf, yeah.
Look at these two idiots. Get on with the show, fat ass.
Does that make...
They're about our age.
Is Beaker Jay or Silent Bob?
I don't know, Beaker, Jay, and Silent Bob. Now, I would say Jay is...
Animal is definitely Jay.
Animal is definitely Jay. And Silent Bob, you know, is probably the Professor?
Beaker.
Well, no, Beaker is one, me, but the Professor Honeydew.
Yeah, no, that's...
Yeah, I would say Silent Bob would be Professor Honeydew, or Swedish Chef.
I actually think I would pay money to see that.
Right?
I am down with that 100%.
Exactly.
I would totally pick this. All right, thank you.
Great question, thank you.
Real quick, can we talk about a couple of your co-stars in Clerks?
Sure.
Marilyn Gigliotti.
Marilyn Gigliotti, yeah. She played Veronica in the original. She's back again for the third one. Always good to work with her, especially. We see her a lot. She's been on a few of the convention circuit shows with us. We'll see her again, I think, in Columbus, Ohio, in the beginning of December. So she comes back in the third one with a vengeance, and it's awesome. It's Veronica with a vengeance.
We don't want to talk too much about three, but yeah, she does come back, and she's great.
It's like John Wick.
She's aiming for you.
Yeah.
Apparently I killed her dog. That was a John Wick joke. I like dogs.
Good.
Loved both of your performances, by the way. Just amazing. I cried. It was wonderful.
Right on, man. Thank you.
I wanted to ask, with Kevin Smith's new films, you get a little more of that emotional feeling. Like, what gave you some inspiration to get into that role, to kind of connect with that more emotional side of your characters?
Okay. You know what it was? First off, Kevin went through his own life issues with his heart attack, and the trailer, I'm not saying anything that's not out on the internet already about the trailer, shows that the Randall character has a heart attack and nearly dies from his heart attack and thinks, you know, I'm going to be 50 here and what have I done with my life? When we got the scripts for the third one especially and reading it, you know, we're older people, we're older characters, and Kevin has grown as a writer. He's really done incredibly well with everything he's done in a progression. If you see his very first movie to his very last movie and you see just the emotional thread of where it all goes through, it's a testament to us just growing and wanting to connect on a certain level.
Yeah, it's a testament to Kevin's writing. Like you read the script and it's kind of all there. It doesn't take. It's not hard to sort of get into character. Yeah. I just got to chew gum. That's it.
And turn the hat backwards. There you go. It's like his Clark Kent. As soon as he does this, no one knows who he is. He opens his mouth and they're like, "Oh, why do I know that voice?" There are times literally people come up to the pair of us, but just to go like, "Oh my God, dude, can I take a photo with you?" I'm like, "Sure." Hand the camera to him.
I get the phone and I take the picture of them, and they have no idea.
And I was like, you know, okay.
I walk away doing the funny walk. They still don't get it.
Says they're a bunch of savages in the town.
On that note, is with, you know, Kevin's obviously he's very attached to all of his characters, but you two. You were the first. You were there. You were the rock upon which his church is built, so to speak. Is it weird for you as actors to come in 1994, 2006, you get to revisit, 2022, you get to revisit again? Is it hard to make those? I mean, it's not like, you know, it's 3 or 4 or 5 years. I mean, it's 12 years. It's 10 years. It's
well, for me, like,
how much input did you have to help shape
in the very beginning? Like, no, it was like 97% of everything that's written on the page was like, do it like this, monkey, you know, that kind of thing. As we went on to other things, like we worked with the Clerks cartoon. We did Clerks 2, obviously. He sprinkled Dante and Randall in like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I was in the Jay and Silent Bob reboot, that kind of thing. So touching upon this universe, so to speak, this Viewers universe, and these characters, it's not usually as big of gaps as people would think, like, oh my God, from the first film to the second film, it was like 11, 12 years. Oh my God, from the second film to this third film, it's like 15 years. Yes, in those specific films, but these characters, you know, it's not like you said, stick a gum, turn the hat around, ready to go. And I've known him now 28 years with Jeff, even though we live on separate coasts and don't stay in touch like regularly, like, hey, come to Thanksgiving or anything. But as soon as we have Kevin's script in front of us and just hanging out, next thing you know, it's the same back and forth, but not a problem.
I think if I were more agreeable to doing the movies, we would be releasing Clerks 23 right now.
We can talk about that. You know what? I will. I'm going to take my moderator duties back. You were notoriously hesitant to kind of come back for 3. What did Kevin finally do or say to convince you that, you know what, maybe I need to do that? Maybe now is the time.
Yeah, you know, originally there was a different version of Clerks 3 written, and you know, it's been talked about already. I'm not saying anything that hasn't been said already. It was just a very dark script. It didn't feel like it belonged in the Clerks world. It just was kind of an odd thing. I know Kevin has since done live readings of it, and he is very glad that movie didn't get made. As far as like why I decided to do it, I don't know. It's like when Kevin pitched the idea for the script that we wound up shooting, he was just so excited about it, and his excitement was kind of infectious. So I said, yeah, I'll do it.
Welcome you guys. Once again, thanks for coming. It's cliche, but thanks for coming. I was just wondering, since COVID hit and then the entertainment world was getting it back on its feet, is there any cool like experiences or projects or any cool people that you got to work with since things started getting back on its feet again?
Thank you for the question. COVID put a big crimp into a lot of productions that had to take longer to get made, and that was like even with ours. we had a very small crew to begin with, and then we had to pare it down even smaller because only a certain number of people could be on set, so to speak, which was the store. The store still exists. If you've been to Jersey, to the store in Leonardo, that's what it is. You literally walk in and we turn on a camera and start filming. But what we did was every Monday, we shot Monday through Friday for 5 weeks. And every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we had to swab up the nose and be tested. So
Yours went up your nose?
you didn't tip her afterwards either?
Oh, I tipped her.
It was always the Monday test that we sweated out because, you know, you go to bars or you go somewhere and interact with people that you're like, oh shoot, because they were always like, please stay in this kind of bubble of existence for the next couple of weeks. But since then we got to work with some really cool people. I mean, Rosario Dawson, as you see, is part of the third one, right? She got to come back to do it. We have a couple of other people, I'm not going to spoil it, but there are some people when you see the third one especially that we've been able to work with. That's been a lot of fun. So it was good that even under the bubble constraints of last year, we were able to do it. Even today, if someone tests positive on a set, they have to be offset per SAG rules and the producer's rules for 10 days. So that's why a lot of times these sets are very closed off. And even like, so-and-so's shooting in town, but they walked by me and I was saying their name for an autograph and they were such a douche. It's because they don't want to be off set for 10 days because not like you're all infected with something, but you know what I mean? It's just to keep it safe for everybody.
And really quickly about COVID, we had, you know, when we, as Brian said, we were under strict COVID stuff doing that, and we would film inside the store, and there was only a certain number of people that were allowed in the store. There was one scene Brian and I were doing, and we would film the scene, and then Kevin would watch it on the monitor, and he may change some lines or this and that. We shot the scene, and the COVID police came up and said, you know, Jeff, there's too many people in the store, you have to leave. I was literally on camera. I'm like, can a lighting guy go? I'm like the Rodney Dangerfield of Clerks. I get no respect.
Yeah, they literally had O2 meters, so if the O2 went too high in a closed room, they had to move people out so that the levels go back down. It was weird.
Well, thank you guys.
There was a film on Netflix last year called The Bubble. I don't know if either of you saw it. It was about a film production.
Right.
You're trying to exist in it. You've seen it. Obviously ramped to 11, but
Yeah.
a lot of familiarity there?
Yeah, I mean, it was that type of thing. There were actual COVID monitoring people who were like, put a mask on, your mask's not on. Like, you had to have your mask on at all times until they literally like, roll camera, roll sound, and take it off, action. And then we would talk, and then after we were cut, like, put it back on.
I'd ask, it's a Kevin Smith production. Did it stunt your creativity at all?
No, not at all. Stunt creativity. He just goes outside and smokes up a whole bunch more creativity. Pages and pages were burned, shall we say.
All right, so
Sorry.
I would like to ask, what is the worst place you've ever worked at? Quick Stop, movies, or someplace else?
As the fictional characters or in real life?
Either or. Yeah.
Either or. What's the worst job you've ever had?
Apparently, I've never worked. You know, I worked on a fishing boat for a long time when I was a kid. It was sort of my summer job, but god darn if I didn't love it, so I don't know.
I've gone through various types of jobs. I was a seafood person as well for 4 years. But I love seafood, so to me as well, I was like, yeah, you know, it is what it is. It could have been worse jobs. I once was one summer for like a couple of months, I was in between things and just needed money, and there was a thing for unloading trucks at different distribution sites, and they're called lumpers. And so like the driver of the truck with all the goods on it would be like, I don't want to unload it myself. They would pay these guys that had a station, like a tent, that they would say, hey, I need a lumper, and then they'd sign you up, and for $125 you'd undo like an entire truckload of, you know, watermelon pallets, or, you know, I did a lot of produce. I was like, look, whatever the fuck we're doing, I want to be in a refrigerated situation. I don't want to be sweating my ass off over in the electronics area. give me like melons and whatever, here we go. And
It's
I
a
did
crap
that.
job, but I have standards.
Swear to God, man. I mean, I've done stinky jobs like the fish job, but in a sense, it was good doing that.
Next time I get this question, I'm going to say, I was a lumper.
Yeah. That was the name of them.
I work at a hotel right now, and I gotta tell you, it'd be a great job if it weren't for the fucking customers.
There you go. Enjoy unemployment because you've just been fired. You know, it's hospitality, sir. Oh, all right.
Hi, I was just in Boulder yesterday watching Clerks 3,
Right on.
and I was super excited you guys were coming here. What was your favorite scene from any of the 3 Clerks? I know we don't want to necessarily spoil anything from the
Sure.
third, but what was your favorite scene?
Jeff, what was your favorite scene of any of the 3 Clerks movies?
My favorite scene is going to seem obvious, but it's not. My favorite scene was the donkey show. But not for that, not for that. Not for that. It's because the guy who's in the Kinky Kelly is Zach, and he like worked behind the scenes for us, and he was the videographer who would sort of take the off-camera stuff. But just when Zach was playing that role and he came out in this little bathrobe and he was like, all right guys, let's get this over with, and had to show us his outfit. My favorite scene.
I just love the fact that here was a guy working the behind the scenes of the movie and started to then eventually get on the screen working the behind. I'm not lying. Not lying. God, there's so many great moments of all 3 of the films that you can think of, like, which was really great. The camaraderie behind the scenes with Clerks 2 was always really great. Clerks 3 was this kind of weird, kind of time machine, kind of reminiscent kind of feel to it. I enjoyed the day that we were at the go-kart track all day for Clerks 2. So much so that when they called for lunch, I was like, I'm good, I'm just gonna stay on it. So if you watch the movie again, there's a scene where you're watching the movie, Dante and Randall are going around in go-karts, and then there's a scene where you see me with sunglasses on, driving around. That's Brian driving around in the go-kart. That's not what wasn't part of the scene. I didn't know someone said, hey, turn the camera on and just shoot Brian going around with his sunglasses on. It's a continuity blooper for you IMDb nerds. But that was literally me not taking my lunch going around the track.
I'm sure the Eagle was very excited by that.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you. Thanks for buying the shirt.
Sir. How's it going?
Good, yourself?
Doing great. Congrats on Clerks 3, it was absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
Seeing that the series has gone on for 30 years with 3 movies, I was kind of curious, either now or looking back, what was your reaction to seeing the original ending of Clerks change?
I hated it when I read it. The original ending of Clerks, spoiler alert, the main character gets shot. If you haven't seen the movie, come on, it's 28 years, what are you waiting for? And so we kind of poke fun of it. If you've seen the 3rd movie, you see how we poke fun of it. So I'm glad we didn't do it then. It wasn't like how it's played out in the 3rd one, where I'm like, well, what if there's a sequel? I didn't kind of do that with Kevin. But I was kind of like, why would you want to kill this guy? And thankfully, John Pearson, who was a producer's rep that Kevin had brought on to sell Clerks to somebody, said, you got to cut that ending off, man. That's a bummer. And Kevin was just like, well, that's the whole irony of the whole thing. He wasn't supposed to be here today, and here he gets shot. And that really can happen to us out there. I was just like, oh, okay. But he's like, still cut it. And here we are, 28 years later.
My only problem with it is I think Randall should have shot him.
Twist.
Whatever happened to Dante? And Randall's behind the red
sure what
shirt.
happened.
I don't know.
You mentioned that it kind of poked fun at that option in Clerks 3. I want to mention, we talked about Marilyn. Talk about Lisa for a second. Sadly isn't here for Clerks 3. And I think it's addressed really well in the film proper, not just in the dedication plaque. There's a dedication plaque for Lisa out there if you're not paying attention when you watch Clerks 3. How did you guys feel? I mean, because it's a very short blip of addressing Caitlin. How was that for you guys to shoot?
I mean, first of all, it's sad that we lost Lisa Spoonhour. She had lost her battle with cancer. She had battling cancer for 10 years prior to that. And we definitely missed her on set. There was an essence that we weren't complete with what was going on. It was nice to see Kevin write in, there's two characters named Lisa in the film, specifically as a kind of nod. But as you say, there's a postcard that we missed you, Caitlin. We will always love you, Lisa. That being said, she was always amazing to work with on the first one. Jeff got to know her so much so that they eventually got married. And so she was really cool, and her daughter, even to this day, is like a weird kind of clone of her. Like, when I got to see her and talk to her at one point, I was just like, oh my God, you are totally your mother because of the look and the kind of, toughness that her mom had. So it's beautiful. She is definitely missed, and I'm glad that Kevin did the dedication as he did.
Yeah, I think it was very important to complete that, to round that out.
Yeah.
It was beautifully done.
Yeah.
It was incredible. So thank you. You both did great.
Hey, how's it going? I just wanted to say, I love the movie, man. I haven't cried in the theater in so long, and I just couldn't hold it back when I watched that film. It was amazing. But what was your guys' favorite behind-the-scene moment between all three Clerks?
I think he said it, seeing Zach going, let's get this over with.
I think, when I think about it, I think of Clerks 3. Jason is a very hard guy to keep track of. Go figure. He literally, this is a true story. He starts his day with 7 shots of espresso and can drink between 10 and 15 Red Bulls a day.
So he's still alive.
I don't know, his heart's gonna explode. But whenever we were in a scene with him, you knew, they'd come knock on your trailer door and they'd say, we need you on set. But you knew if you were in a scene with Jason to take your time getting to the set because they'd never find him. I think about 3 days into it, they hired a girl who must have been 18, 19, and it was her only job to trail him and to radio his coordinates. That girl was forever looking for him. She was always white as a sheet. She probably came up to me 10 times a day and was like, Jeff, I'm sorry, have you seen Jay? I was like, that's your one job. I mean, he's like 47. He would go in the restroom, climb out the window, and get rid of that poor girl. It had to be the longest 5 weeks of her poor life.
Yeah. And then when you would look for him, and then he was getting ready, he was like, I gotta get ready. We were filming in the midst of the summer last year. It was pretty hot. And so he, instead of him changing in his own trailer, he had wardrobe set up a rack, and I shit you not, in the walk-in cooler of the Quick Stop. So that he could change in a refrigerated setting. Not like the trailers didn't have air conditioning, they did. But he just felt like, oh, I feel much better doing it in here. And I'm like, there's people's milks, and there's like, Gatorades and all sorts, and eggs over here, and his guy's just getting into his clothes and stuff. So Jay was fun to be on set for that one. And other behind the scenes stuff, there would always be like a $5 night kind of thing where everybody puts in $5 and someone puts this is stuff that Jay would organize. He always was like the court jester of the sets, always either pulling pranks or doing stuff like that. And that's the type of stuff that doesn't really get captured on these behind the scene things. Some of them do, and some of them can't be filmed because I don't want to have to testify.
Good call.
Yeah, but it's good stuff. So thank you.
My favorite moment from probably all of the Clerks, all of the bits, was the Lord of the Rings bit where Randall is demonstrating the boringness of all 3 movies. That's my favorite joke of all time. I'm curious, was that born out of like an actual debate between you guys, or do you have a preference?
John, you are definitely the Lord of the Rings question answerer.
Yeah, no, that was in the script. I know a lot of it changed when we were on set. There was a lot of mixing around of lines and stuff. But speaking of Lord of the Rings, like I just started doing the cons this year. Like I've never done them before. And when we did our first con, that the hobbits were there. Brian and I went in and took a photo with them, and Brian's holding up an onion ring, and I'm pointing at it, and they're like this. I don't get excited about a lot of stuff, but I love that photo. I'm sorry, I love that Frodo. See what I did there?
It's funny because there have been fans that have come up to Jeff with the Lord of the Rings box set for him to sign. But here's the touche about it. Before they get to the actual hobbits to sign, so then he would write on the box before them, all they did was fucking walk in this movie. So then it gets to Elijah Wood, Sean Ashton, Billy Boyd, and Dominic.
There was a guy who came up to my table and he said, you know, I have the VIP pass to get a photo with the hobbits, and it allows me to bring somebody. Would you come with me? Meaning me. So he was holding up a sign that said, even the trees walked in those movies, and I gave him. I don't think they like it when we're at these cons with them.
I'll be honest. I think Sean Astin likes it more than he might.
Sean loves
He's
it.
a great guy.
Sean loves it.
They're all very.
They're all really, really great. I've become friends with Billy as well, and they're just all really funny guys.
Hey, what's up?
What's up?
So I've recently seen the cartoon, and that got me thinking, are there any actual plans to bring back the Clerks animated series, whether it's HBO Max, Netflix, Disney Plus?
That's it.
Peacock.
You lost me at the end. That's all I know.
The cartoon series, thanks for bringing that up. We shot that in 2000. Thank you. Yeah, give it a round of applause. The Clerks animated series produced by Disney, funny enough. Won't put it on Disney Plus. But their other outlet, Hulu, is also owned by Disney. That would be the only outlet for that specific version of the Clerks animated series with, like, you know, Leonardo and Mr. Plug and all those characters to come back. Kevin was like, had his agent reach out to Hulu when he saw the creator of Solar, the Justin Roiland series on Hulu. He's like, oh shit, if they're doing that on Hulu, we have a show that's ready to go. They don't have to do any pre-production investment because we have all the pre-production art, we have episodes, we'll just literally get people start throwing down the dialogue and we'll animate as it goes. Because it's a lot cheaper now. And Hulu said to Kevin's agent, no, we're good. Good. So with that doesn't mean Kevin can't take an animated Clerks series somewhere. It just would be different style of artwork, different kind of thing like that. So we're hoping after this run of Clerks 3, once it's all said and done and the Blu-rays and stuff get sold by the beginning of January, hopefully by then we'll see if there is some interest for Hulu, picking up Kevin's phone. Hey, it's Hulu, and Kevin going like, new phone, who dis? We'll see. But thank you. It was one of the most fun times we ever did. I mean, what we never got to achieve Jeff's ultimate goal in recording audio for that, which was
recording in my underwear.
Where would you guys want that set? Would you want that set between the first two movies or between the second one?
Why not all? I think we could do the gaps between the first two movies and the second two movies. I mean, for God's sakes, look at The Simpsons. That kid still isn't old enough yet. What the? 30 years.
I was wondering if either of you, when you were younger, played street hockey, and what is the weirdest place you played sports when you were a kid?
All right, did any of us either play street hockey, and what was the weirdest place we've ever played sports?
Oddly enough, I did not play street hockey, and in the Clerks 1 and in Clerks 3 we play hockey, and I don't even play it in there. I have a terrible back, so they both times brought in an extra for me. Very strange. On Clerks 3, when we were filming that day, it must have been 105 degrees, and they were on the roof of the store, and it was very hot. They were up there for hours, and like I said, my stunt double was up there, and they just bring me up and put me in the goalie net. They throw about 4 or 5 balls at me, and I'm done. And I walked up there, I was there, I caught 3 or 4 balls, I was there maybe 4 minutes, I'm like, fuck, it's hot in here. I never got hit with so many hockey sticks in my life.
You were gonna get more than just balls to the face. Again. I did play street hockey. I'm reminded by my mom, like every 3 months, get my stupid goalie pads out of her basement. Because I played goalie in street hockey, and it was always fun. We always either played on tennis courts that we removed the net from in between the tennis courts, or someone's really large pool, which was another drained pool, not hockey underwater, although that'd be interesting too. So for that, I would say that. But thank you.
Hi guys, so by the time Clerks 2 started shooting, Clerks was already sort of this legendary, mythic movie for aspiring filmmakers and that sort of thing. And so Clerks 2 comes around, and it's like, who are you going to add to this legendary cast? And you get Elias. And so I'd love to hear any stories about I think his name's Furman.
Trevor Furman, yep.
Any stories about him, especially like the pillow pants scene, like that kills me every single time. So I'd love to hear about that.
Jeff?
I had worked with Trevor before we shot Clerks 2. I wrote and directed a movie called Now You Know, and Trevor was in it. So that's kind of how I knew Trevor. And I know when it came time to do Clerks 2, Kevin called me up and he was like, you know, that guy that was in your movie, what do you think about him playing Elias? And I was all for it. I was like, yeah, that would work. But when Trevor showed up on the set and he sort of became Elias, it was better than I expected. He really did a great job with it. And you know, as far as we're talking about the animated series, I would like to now hear Randall's take on pillow pants, because we never got that far when Randall, you know, he comes out of the thing to tell Dante about pillow pants. You know, the Jason Lee character is there and interrupts it. So I would like to hear Randall's take on that conversation.
So would I.
That would definitely be Hulu.
I just love during that scene in Clerks 2 when Trevor as Elias is telling the whole pillow pants story, and the music choice that's like the shiny kind of music behind it. Every time I see that, I cannot help but love the music choice, which has always been great about Kevin's movies in general. Is like he really knows to grab really great songs or types of vibe, and James Venable, who does the scoring of the music, all of his movies for the most part, is always genius as well. So even this new film, it's the music choices have been so spot on. Thank you, man.
Thanks, guys.
Jeff, you mentioned Now You Know. You wrote and directed it. After that experience, do you have any empathy for Kevin at that point when you roll around and make your Clerks day?
I felt bad that he cast me.
Did you ever look at him sometimes and go, Kevin, what are you thinking? Or I already made that mistake, Kevin.
I still do that to this day. Kevin, what were you thinking? I saw Clerks 3 last week and I said, Kevin, what were you thinking?
So this is a question that I have specifically for you, and I was hoping it would be addressed in Clerks 3, but it wasn't, sadly. But what has happened to all of Dante's more successful cousins?
Thank you for that question. So what has happened to Gil Hicks, suitor number 3 from Mallrats, Grant Hicks, news reporter from Dogma, who shows up again actually
I guess,
in Jay and Silent Bob reboot, and then I think we named him Sean Hicks from Chasing Amy, where me and some actor, I don't know his name was, Matt Damon or something. Anyway, good kid. He had some spunk. I liked him. He was all right. Whatever happened to them? Funny enough, Kevin has come out with his own comic book label, and there's a line of comics now that you're going to see on his website called Quick Stop Stories or Quick Shorts or something of that nature. And I think it's episode 4, book 4 addresses the the Hicks family reunion. And so anybody who follows me on my Instagram account, there's a photo of like a bunch of all 4 of the Hicks looking at each other like, hey, what's going on?
A bunch of hideous chuds.
Yes. So your answer will be answered in the comic book version in just a couple of months.
Okay, I've been waiting for that family reunion.
There you go. There you have it.
Thank you.
I think we've got time for about one more question.
This will be the final question. Make it good. There's all these people looking at you.
No pressure.
Hey, Dante, Rancid Randall, I'm just saying, how come you didn't know that there was a dead guy in the bathroom?
All right.
Finally, a hard-hitting question. How could you not know?
Randall, you work at a VHS tape store. I worked at Blockbuster. You work at a 7-Eleven, technically. I worked at a convenience
We
store.
call them Wawas in Jersey.
Well, I'm from Utah, so. How would you not know there's a dead dude in the bathroom? And why did your girlfriend come out asking if it was you?
Well, first off, Mr. Technical, I was out getting on my best Cosby sweater for my date with said dead girl fucker.
That sweater didn't age well, did it?
No, it didn't age well at all. Matter of fact, we replicated for the 3rd one because I didn't have it anymore. We kind of destroyed it while making the first film. And so they asked me, and it was a Liz Claiborne sweater, like a really nice friggin' sweater. And so we took photos. They literally had a woman hand wove that sweater for the 3rd movie, which was crazy. Softest wool I've ever had. It was amazing. But
I love that you knew it was a Liz Claiborne sweater.
it was good. I'm a man of good taste, my friend.
But he's your best friend.
But the male version is called the Claiborne line, whatever it was. Look at me, man. Of course I know my way in fashion.
It's a beautiful shirt, dude.
Yeah, thank you.
Beautiful shirt.
Got it in Denver, actually, at the Rock Mountain place. Anyway, so yeah, we didn't know because the guy didn't start decomposing by then.
And it would be a smell.
Yeah, it would be a smell issue. Right on, brother. Thank you, man. Future medical examiner, everybody.
Well, Jeff and Brian, I want to thank you on behalf of all the fans here at FanX.
Well, thank you, Mark, for having us.
It's been a long time coming. We are really happy you're here. We hope it's not another 2 years before we see you again.
Yes, definitely would love to come back. Thank you to the crew for behind the cameras, behind the screens for being here today. Yeah, big round of applause. We're going to go back to our tables. We actually have photo ops after this. So if you have a photo op schedule, head on over to photo ops now, and then we'll be back at our tables. We're here all weekend long. Come on out.
Give a big round of applause.